Welcome to Trapping Inc. I'm Rich Mellon, and welcome to Season 7. Here's to 7 more seasons, okay? Episode 1, we're going to go chase coyotes. Spoiler alert, great year for coyotes. Going to be using a power ram, okay? And the power ram, this is the number 1, the coyote ram it's called, and it is lethal. In Alberta, just about all of our snares and that are going to be, it's going to be law that they're going to have to be lethal pretty quick. Lethality is an important thing. Let's talk about for a second, how does a snare work? There are so many myths. There are so much anti-language about a snare, and that they choke to death, they suffocate. Nothing could be further from the truth. What happens is the snare compresses the carotid arteries, which are in here, okay? Those carotid arteries control the blood flow to the brain. And once they're compressed, or occluded is the term that the scientists use. Once they're occluded, then no more blood flow goes to the brain, and the animal just grays out, goes to sleep, and eventually dies. It is no different than what we do to a UFC or MMA fighter, okay? All we do when we put them in that sleeper hold is we compress that carotid artery, the blood flow ceases to the brain, and they gray out. If they let go at the right time, they stay alive. If they don't, well, that's what we do with our coyotes. The thing about a snare, this power ram, is that this huge spring, when it's set here, there's a huge amount of energy, a huge potential for energy to get job done. And you got to make sure that you have the right snare for your ram, okay? This ram is 48-inch ram. It takes a 47-inch snare. But even if you take and say that a coyote's neck is the same size as my 3 fingers, you can see how much short that comes up. Because in actual fact, this snare is through here, and the coyote's head's over here. So it shows you how much pressure is being put on there in order to occlude those arteries. Anyway, enough of that. Let's get trapping. Trapping is the cornerstone that Canada was built on. Brave and sometimes crazy men and women, fueled by the lucrative fur trade, explored and mapped our great nation. Hundreds of years have passed since then, but trapping still remains vibrant, strong, and steeped in the ancient traditions. The fur bearers still follow the old paths and live as dictated by thousands of years of instinct. Fur only gets prime in the harsh temperatures of winter, and trappers must respect and prepare for the weather. Trapping's past is firmly rooted in history, but today, the gear and techniques have changed. Canada is still known for the best wild fur in the world, and today our pelts are sold on the global market. Our community is large, and our numbers are growing. We are trappers. This is what we do, and where we belong. Join us in our adventures. Welcome to Trapping Inc., the face of today's trapper. Nice load. Just setting up a bait today. And I've got a dump trailer pretty much full of wild game butchering. So let's take and see if we can get her to tilt. I hope it's not frozen to my tarp. I hope it'll all shoot out of there, but I don't know. Well, all we can do is wait and see, huh? In Alberta, when we snare coyotes, we do it off of bait piles. And you can see here's a big load that I've got from my local butcher shop there. It's moose and elk season when this is going on, and so I just got scraps, bones, hides, and that from the moose and elk that they're processing. It works fantastic, but the secret about a bait pile is never let it run out. You feed an immense number of birds, eagles, and ravens, crows if there are any around, but most of them are gone at this point, magpies. You're feeding birds more than anything, but those birds are making a huge amount of noise, and that attracts the coyotes. I like to set on the very edge of a field, like a large field, so the coyotes might be a half mile away and they'll see the ruckus that those birds are putting up, and that'll draw them in. But it takes a lot of bait in order to keep a bait pile successful for snaring coyotes. You can see my flagging because things get knocked down, it snows or whatever. I can lose a snare pretty easy. That one over there was knocked over by a deer. Got a flag here on this trail right here, and there's my coyote. Good one. Good, I hope so anyway.
Trapping Inc. is brought to you by these fine sponsors. At Old Smokes, we slow roast our coffee over a fire, making it smooth, flavorful, and memorable. You can order our smoked coffee online. Crafted coffee for the courageous. Southland Trailer Corporation makes a trailer for any job. Southland Trailer, behind you all the way. Why trust your hunt to anything less than the best? Carl's Ice Sport Optics. Confidence in the toughest conditions. High quality hunting and spectacular trophies create memories of a lifetime. Let Guy Swart from Wild Horizon help you plan your dream African safari.
All right, what do we got? Oh, there's an unfortunate. Look at that. Managed to get the stick in there at the same time as it fired. That's strange. That is strange. I always say that if you haven't seen it yet, you haven't been trapping long enough. I've caught like a rib bone and that kind of stuff. You know, they go along and their lunch is in their mouth, and that's what gets caught in the snare. They have a tug of war with it until the snare fires, then they get out of there. Yeah, I got in between him and the. He still didn't last very long, so that's what matters. This is not a bad looking dog. It's just expired. Oh, I think he's got a little bit of dog louse on the shoulder. I can show you that here in a minute. Now, when I reset this, I'm gonna just set it back in a little bit further. This is places where they're grabbing bait. These are not the dominant ones. They're grabbing bait and they're running back in here to eat. And after a while, then they start coming from that direction, coming from out behind. There, you can just see the start of it. You can see how we've lost some of the good mane back here. So this is just starting a dog louse. It's a younger dog. That's probably reason why. The rest of it's beautiful shape. Probably this morning, not very long ago. It's not thawed or frozen whatsoever. Here's another coyote. I just barely moved the ram whatsoever. Actually, I don't think I did move it. Because the one yesterday had hit the ram right here and went over there. So I just set the ram right back where it was. This guy went right here. Ooh, nice and light and pale. This could be a female. In which case she's a good dollar coyote. So, the ram is free. Little chunk of hair missing there. Let's see what we got. Perfect. Absolutely perfect. Bit of crap on it there. No, that is what we were looking for. That will be like a 28, maybe 30-pound female, and she is gorgeous. I'll get this ram set right up. I'm gonna set it up right back here again, because this is a busy trail. I have this big alfalfa field out here beside me. And coyotes travel edges all the time, right? This has become a highway out here. What I really need, if somebody was granting wishes, I need a little bit of snow, a little bit of fresh snow. I've got about 2 acres here that is padded flat. It looks like the Walmart parking lot, because there are so many coyotes and everything else going through here that it's hard to tell what's fresh, what's current, what's not. I love it when they start doing this. They start grabbing onto the loose pieces of hide and they start dragging them back in the bush. And then they start beating these trails into these spots. You see the trail here? There's a hide that they pulled over. And then you got these trails everywhere in here. Because they feel comfortable sneaking into the back, right? Well, one got too comfortable here. Look at this guy. Look at the color on him. Now that is a beautiful, beautiful coyote. Nice silver gray, not the reddish brown or anything. Got him right on this trail. Oh, you can see I had it set right there. Picked him up on this trail. He's going back and forth, and I think I need to move a few more snares back into the woods here. Right. Oh, he's a little bit frozen, so he was last night. This one just absolutely just laid down and died. There is nothing for catch circle or anything. He's just over and done with. What a beauty. Go. I think I'd have had a couple of more here if it hadn't have been for the deer. The deer knocked a bunch of them out away on me. See here, this is something I like to point out. Everybody talks about how when they hit a snare that they just keep running, and you know, that's why you need to be anchored up high, because it'll catch them behind the head. But if you look at this, I'll bring it close, and you tell me what went on right here. You see this? So the snare caught him back here, and what did he do? He turned around, pulled, because it pulled all of this stuff forward, and then that reset behind his neck and killing him. I don't believe the thing about them hitting the snare, and then I think some of them, I'm sure, do hit the snare and just keep running like crazy, but I get a lot more catches like this where the hair is actually pulled back towards them like that because of the snare. But this one is perfect. This is a beautiful, beautiful coyote. Oh yeah, look at that. That is nice. Looks like a perfect one too. Picked it up right on this trail here. Now this is the funny part, is there's a couple of trails that go out to that field, and it just makes them the ideal spot for setting, because you know they're not milling around in that, they're following the actual trail. So I'm gonna probably set this one right back on here again. And I might even drop one over on that trail right there. This one perfect. He's not a silver gray like that other one is, but oh my goodness, is he pretty. Let's see what we can do here. Let's get him out. I'll show him to you. That power ram is an absolute hammer. And part of the reason for that is that this this whole snare here is only 47 inches long. If you stretch it right out, no loop, nothing, it's 47 inches long. This ram opens up to 48 inches. So then you add a couple of 3 inches for the neck of that coyote, you can see there's a lot of pressure there, right? They kill very well. There we go. It's easy to just take it and push down on the ram just like you saw me do there. And then you just take and thread it all back out through the other way here. Boom, ram's ready for resetting. Lots of ways to reset a ram. This has become my favorite. Just like that. I'm not kneeling, I'm not doing anything. So I'm gonna set this right back where I had it, which was right there. My disturbance is off to the side here. I'll set it right there, and I think I'm going to, there's a lot more traffic on that other trail there, just over a couple feet than there was yesterday. This was just overnight. I'm gonna be gone for a few days, so I wanna check. I don't wanna leave a beautiful animal like this out, because you know, the ravens, they might get tired of that meat over there. If it freezes or whatever, they might come eat some soft, warm coyote. Look at this coyote. This is spectacular. Look at that. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. That is just spectacular. And it is fat. Oh, is it fat.
Trapping Inc. is brought to you by these fine sponsors. Argo Extreme vehicles conquer any season, any terrain. See all the new models at your nearest dealer. Argo, go anywhere. Range Road Enterprises understands hard work and the value of a buck. Our products work as hard as you do. See our full line of firewood processors, sawmills, and more at your nearest dealer. Midland Radio helps you stay in touch in the wild. Check out the new X-Talkers at your nearest dealer. Communication for every adventure. Take your best to the best. J. Martin Taxidermy. Recreating the memories of your hunt with precision, passion, and pride.
One of the best things you can do for yourself is to mark where your snares are. I've got a little flag everywhere where my snares are. You can see that orange flag up there. And every time I move the snare, I move the flag. You can see they've been in here tearing this apart. This is one of the things about it being so warm, is that this stays so that they can tear it apart, right? Oh, there we got one laying right over there. Absolutely perfect. Got another one right on the trail there, but nothing's happened. I don't know that much has gone up and down here. I'll have to take a look at that. You might need a reset. When they're coming in this fast and this hard, they're making new trails all the time, and I change all the time. But I always move that orange flag with it. Looks like a nice catch. We'll get him off. Oh, I've seen people scare the heck out of me when it comes to removing these snares. All you do is just push down and just undo them off the lap link. Then life is easy. See, people who cut them, cut the snare, whatever, they're releasing all that tension, and there is a chance of things going badly wrong. Let's see. Oh, looks very good. It's younger. It's not a big mature dog, but it's got no problems, which is nice. I like that. Show you right here. You've got a notch. See that notch in there? Maybe you can see it through my glove. That's going to be the trigger or the release for the snare. So you take it and grab your snare, and then you just thread it through this lap link. All these kites know this is my bait, and I do this all barehanded. To try and do it any other way isn't gonna work. So just take and thread it through the lap link, boom. Okay, you have here. You see that washer? Okay, that washer has to go on the other side of the setup here, or other side of that notch or that trigger. So you just give it a little bit of a squeeze and set it in there. Well, let's take and move this down so it's in line. There we go. See, when this was up here, then it was pulling it up all the time. Too much of a hair trigger. So now you see that is loaded. Well, what I'm going to do though is I'm going to take and keep my safety on until I've got it positioned, then I'll flick it off. Oh, I see my wire unwound here. All this wire is to give me a little bit of control over my snare. I can set the size of it. I can bend it up and down a little bit, whatever I like. Okay? Okay, we have a coyote in the snare. You can see that this is still under a lot of tension, okay? People want to argue about where we should anchor it. It's always traditionally been through this eye down here in the bottom, right? Okay? But the people that are against that say that as he pulls on this, he causes flex, right? I don't think it will give him any slack, but it could cause it to abrade on the trigger here, okay? And you could break away. Other people want to hook directly here in this eye. A couple things can happen there. It can foul as it fires, but also the fact you are straight in the line. This is a 3/64th snare, and it's got a deer breakaway on it. A 35-pound coyote can hit hard enough to break it and get away. I prefer to go kind of around the side here on this, and it'll slide up and down on this arm. That or in the middle. I haven't found one or the other that was any better. I just know that I don't like to go directly to the eye because I've had breakaways. All right, that's it. That's the end of it for the first show of season 7, and I sure hope you enjoyed your time with us. We had some beautiful coyotes out there, haven't we? Hope we see you down the trail.
Do you have a question? Would you like more interaction? You can connect with us and all our social media sites from our website at trappinginc.com.